Hi viewers, you are welcome to today's lecture series on Research Methodology Simplified series. My name is Professor Melody Didi Model from Michael Lapa University of Agriculture. In this lecture 8, we are going to look at research hypotheses. Lecture 8 on research hypotheses covers the following: concept of hypothesis, functions of hypotheses, 4 benchmarks for postulating adequate hypotheses, where hypotheses apply, and types of hypotheses. So let us look at what is hypothesis. I want to let you know, like we emphasize on objectives, the importance of the objective as a guide in any research investigation. We also emphasize on the importance of research question as another guide in achieving a quality research work. Hypothesis is another good guide, very strong guide, which most people do not know how to apply, which most people avoid in their work. But if you apply hypothesis in any work, it makes the work very strong, detailed, and come out with something better results. So hypotheses are informed and intelligent guesses. Hypotheses are more than wide guesses, but less than well-established theories. Yes, I say hypotheses are informed and intelligent guesses. So when we talk about hypothesis, you are talking about you have a problem. You want to look at and work towards finding a solution towards the problem. But for you to do that, you need to infer. You need to look up plausible information, guess. It's not just guess, but very intelligent one. Very intelligent one. Very informed. You know what is informed information? So, and we say it is more than wide guesses. Like some people say it's a wide guesses. It's not wide. We say it's intelligent one. It's informed one, but less than well-established theory. Research hypotheses are declarative statements. When you say that something is declarative, you mean that it's assertive. You are sure, you are certain. In hypothesis, you have to assert. You have to declare your status. You have to declare what you are about to study. Most often, some people are asked to declare their statement. Some are asked to put their statement in question form. But declarative statements is a very good characteristic, a good word that can use to describe a quality hypothesis. Hypothesis can be possible solutions, like I say, when you talk about intelligent guesses of how to solve a problem. So when you say possible solution, we are talking about likely solutions. We are talking about conceivable solution. This hypothesis can as well be tentative answers. You know what tentative stands for? When something tentative is just temporal. Yes, it can be. You can be hesitant. It can be cautious, and you have to suggest. You have to indicate suggested solutions. So when you are suggesting solution, given an informed guess, you have not carried out the study, but you say it could be this, it could be that. It's likely this will solve this. So in your work, you need to go and test those hypotheses. You need to go and test those intelligent guesses. You need to go and test those tentative answers you have already provided. You need to go and look at possible solutions you already inferred. That is about hypotheses. They are assumptions, propositions, whose veracity and the validity are yet to be established. Good, like we said before. So something you are going to test on in the field. They are not yet established, but you are inferring them. A supposition or problem explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. We are not going to look at functions of hypothesis, having known what hypothesis is all about. Let us know the functions like we looked at functions of research questions. Good. Hypotheses provide basis for delineating the relevant variables into independent, dependent, and control variables, among others. Remember, when we treated variables, we emphasize on 6 most important variables in a research study. Remember, we talk about independent, talk about dependent, talk about moderator variable, talk about intervening variable, talk about extraneous variable, and talk about control variables. These are things we must found in the hypothesis. They play their role most in formulation of hypothesis. That's why I say they provide basis for delineating, for controlling, for narrowing, for scoping the relevant variables into independent, dependent, and control variables, among others. They make problems clearer and understandable. They are pertinent evidences for providing solution to the problem. They sensitize the researchers or the researcher to the important aspect of the problem under investigation. That means whenever you're trying to formulate your hypothesis, remember, I have told you in formulation objective, you have to find out the sub-variable of independent variable, which you are going to use to form your what? Objectives, which will be translated into research question. And from these research questions, you can now formulate or postulate your hypothesis. So those keywords, sub-variables of dependent and independent variable there must come to play in this hypothesis formulation. They provide guides to researchers in planning the part of the research, in choosing the data to use, in deciding the actual statistical technique. Yes, when you formulate your hypothesis, any good academics, any good researcher, investigator, looking at the hypothesis will guess where the data you are going to collect will look like. We also know the kind of research statistical tool you are going to use. I mean, statistical technique. Once you have this in clear, they enable you to test the hunches and the reasoning that lead to the formulation of theories, formulation of principles, formulation of laws, hence standard procedure for advancement of knowledge. They help to determine the appropriate design, procedure, methods appropriate for data collection or analysis. They finally provide framework for drawing conclusion. In the next lecture, we are going to look at the 4 benchmarks for stating adequate hypothesis. Thank you.